Hey Little Hoes, my name is Kristen and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about my recent experiences with putting houseplants, outside during the summer months. And some of you will know that I did this because I didn't really have a choice. My sunroom, where I keep a lot of my plants, mainly cacti, but quite a few other leafy, foliagey, tropical things, was pretty much destroyed. There was a pipe that ran underneath the flooring that needed to be fixed, so everything had to be ripped up and before that moved out. Well, the living room is already kind of crammed with plants, so that meant a lot of them had to go outside. And you'll see I set up a table, you can still kind of see it outside, under the tree to put out a lot of the plants. So anyone that has kind of been gardening a while, been into houseplants, the plant community a while, will know there are tons of people that love to put plants outdoors during the summer months. And for many, it's kind of a ritual that they do every year. And there are many pros to putting your plants outside for the warmer months. Obviously, you get increased sunlight. You get some of that natural rainwater. In some regions, it's just more naturally humid outdoors. And wind is actually a big factor in your plant's appearance and health. Oftentimes, the wind will make your plant stockier, which is a great thing. And if you grow a plant inside versus outside, you will often notice that those grown outdoors and exposed to the wind will be a bit sturdier and stockier than the ones in the greenhouse. They're just a bit more tender. You have access to the hose for these plants, so you're able to really saturate them and or flush out the soil, any fertilizer accumulation that might have occurred, as well as be able to spray your plants. So if there's any pests bothering them, it's a whole lot easier to spray them outdoors than to have to lug them to your bathroom or whatnot to mist them down. But in this video, not to be a negative Nelly, but I wanted to kind of highlight some of the more negative factors with putting your plants out. And this is by no means me saying I would never put plants out again during the summer, or, say that you shouldn't experiment with it. But there were a few things on the negative list, so I kind of wanted to highlight the polar opposite because everyone touts how great it is. Kind of want to go the opposite direction and share some of my frustrations with you guys about having my plants outside. First, I wasn't able to gradually introduce them to the outdoors in my situation. It was kind of an immediate remodel and I had to get them out kind of immediately, which was unfortunate because with moving plants outdoors, oftentimes, even if your houseplant is in a very sunny spot, it's still much less intense than the sunlight in the great outdoors. So you will often experience burning with the foliage and plants, and I unfortunately experienced that with quite a few things, even though most of these were in pretty decent amount of shade, so I thought, but it was just too much, too fast for them, and a lot of the foliage, especially on my black pagoda lipstick plant, which I'm very sad about, and a few other broadleaf things, they just kind of burnt a bit, and I was very disappointed in that. If you move them outdoors, be sure to try and put them in a shadier spot and gradually move them to more sun, even if it is a plant that likes full sun inside. Let's not forget storms. There was a massive kind of out of the blue rainstorm that swept through a few days after I put all my little cacti and succulents outside. And I, at some godforsaken early morning hour, rushed outside. My sweet boyfriend accompanied me to help, and I stuffed them all under the table. It was an absolute downpour, and oversaturation is a huge component in rotting out plants, especially if you have a very particular water schedule, you let things dry out. All that saturation can easily damage those roots and or rot out your plant. Obviously, wind damage is a huge component as well. If you live somewhere super windy, or you're, say, putting it out on a balcony, there can be some gusts that topple over plants, especially if you have them in lightweight plastic pots or they are very top-heavy plants. Be sure to try and nestle it somewhere that they're not going to tip over, or have it in pots that are really chunky and sturdy. Another major factor that I hated with houseplants outside, and specifically bringing them back in, is I brought in a ton of spiders. Now, I don't mind a few spiders here and there in the house, particularly if they're beneficial spiders and kind of help control some of the nastier bugs that you don't want in your house. But holy hellfire, guys, it's like, it's apocalyptic, the amount of spiders that were hiding up in these plants when I brought them in. And they're not cute spiders. They're helping control the fly population, but I don't like to get too close to them. That is a huge negative for me. I would definitely say, when you bring your plants back in, check for any little creepy crawlies that you don't want to bring back in. You are going to find, especially when it starts to get hot at the peak of summer where you are, your plants dry out super fast, even in the shade. And I had to, especially at the 100-degree heat wave we had, go out there sometimes twice a day just to check on things to make sure they were not burning up. And even in the shade, just the dry air that we get in eastern Washington just swept through and dried things out super fast. So be aware, your watering schedule is going to change the minute you put your plants outside. Be it, if it's wet outdoors, you're going to have to monitor that. Try and keep them dry, water a lot less than you normally would. Or if you live somewhere very hot and dry, you're going to have to watch and maintain that. So your watering schedule is not going to be the same as your normal one indoors. Anyway, guys, that was just kind of a quick video about a topic that, I'm still unsure on. As you guys may know, I also work outdoors, and sometimes I just don't feel like going back outside to take care of plants. It's a lot easier for me before bed to wander around the next room over and check things. And that's just me being lazy, but I like having them closer to me to watch them, not worry about what the weather's doing and how that's affecting them on the daily. That being said, the Hoyas in my quote-unquote care have thrived outdoors. I've heard a lot of people experience the same thing, that Hoyas do wonderfully when put outside for the summer, and I agree with that. I experienced a ton of growth on even some of my more difficult varieties, and you guys know I'm on the struggle bus from day one with Hoyas. So it was kind of impressive to see the amount of growth they produced being put outside. And I think I might continue to put them outdoors during the summer months in years ahead. Anyway, guys, that was my thoughts on putting plants outside and some of the more negative factors associated with it. I would love to hear your guys' opinions and what you like to do. Do you enjoy putting houseplants outdoors during the warm months, or do you tend to keep everything inside? I hope you guys are doing well, staying healthy and sane, and I will talk to y'all soon. Goodbye.